you're on Run for the Hills with Amber Pritchard.
And I'm Carrie Turco, and I'm just here to assist in any way I can, and I am a trauma therapist.
Tell me a little bit more about what you do besides trauma therapy.
So I work in politics, so campaign season's coming up, which is really exciting. I study from an academic standpoint abuses of power, and so taking that and understanding that within the political paradigm, I think that's very important. And so that's really where my focus has been other than private practice.
So this episode that we're going to go over is about a child that was sexually assaulted by an officer who was there to protect the school, and it kind of got a little out of hand.
It's such a betrayal, it sounds.
Yeah, it was very, very, very hard for that community, and I was a part of that community, and that's what the story is about. And hopefully we can shine a little bit of light on this scenario. And, you know, you think that your child would be safe in a school.
Yep.
Anywhere.
And with law enforcement, too.
Yeah.
There's that angle as well.
Yeah. And so we're going to cover that story. He is going to be coming on eventually and answering some questions.
What happened? How did it all begin, I guess?
So he was a very, very popular kid. Got homecoming king. He was a star football player. You know, he just had a lot going for him. And people kind of knew in that community that he grew up, that he kind of had a rough upbringing. And so I feel like maybe that is why he was also kind of targeted, but he was also a very popular kid. In high school. And so how it all began, he was friends with this girl that was the resource officer for the school, was Snapchatting this girl. And the boy was like, hey, why are you snapping him? She's like, oh, he's just really cool, you know, blah, blah. And he's like, all right, well, time goes on and the officer adds the kid on Snapchat. So they form a friendship. And so this officer is bringing him lunches to school, buying him like, you know, what is it called? Vapes.
Wow.
To school.
So grooming, that's grooming behaviors.
Yeah. Was grooming him, started to buy him alcohol. Yeah, underage alcohol. Him and his friends. And so the kid heard rumors about a past kid there that was also friends with this officer. And they weren't very good rumors, but supposedly this officer would have parties at his house. And I'm sorry, but in what world does anybody think that it's okay? You know, like maybe nobody heard about it, that, you know, these kids were going over to this party. But I don't know. That's some questions I have to ask him.
It's irresponsible. He's supposed to be there for work as a law enforcement official, and he's sitting there grooming these kids and having parties at his house. It's red flags all over.
Right.
But from their perspective, he's cool, he's hip, he's fun.
Yeah.
It's so manipulative, super manipulative, total abuse of power, by the way, right there.
The kid was with me, and we were like driving around by the lake, and I look over and I'm like, why are you snapping him? What? Like, why are you snapping this 42-year-old man?
Wow.
That's an officer. He's like, oh, he's cool. He gets us beer. He does it. I'm like, what?
Wow.
I'm like, okay. And like, I should have caught on, but I tried telling him that's weird, you know, like that's really weird. But I was like, okay, maybe he is just a friend. I'm not going to think the worst about this guy. And because he's an officer, you know, maybe he knows that this kid has a bad upbringing. And so he's trying to be a father figure or like a friend figure, you know? And so time goes on and these kids go over to his house to party. Well, you know, there's probably like 3 parties at the house, and the kid brings his other friend, and it's just them 2 there. And they're walking through the house and they're like, hey, you know, where's your wife and kids at? And he's like, oh, they're out of town. And he was like, well, they're going to see us drinking. He's like, she doesn't have access to that. Why doesn't your wife have access to these cameras in your house?
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
Weird.
Very weird.
And so,
very controlling.
Yeah. The kid was going to sneak out of his house because the officer was like, my family's out of town. Come over, let's drink. And the kid's like, okay, yeah, like, oh, my parents won't let me come, or my grandparents won't let me come. I'm just going to sneak out. And he's like, I can come pick you up. And so he's like, all right. So he picks this kid up at 11 o'clock at night. And the kid thinks that his friend's coming over too to drink with all of them. Well, the kid can't get out of like the house. So he's like, yeah, bro, like I can't come. And so they end up drinking. It's 17 shots of alcohol.
What?
And the officer's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you being a pussy, bro? Like, keep drinking.
Wow.
Yeah, like, keep drinking, dude. And at this point, they're in the hot tub. And when you're in the hot tub and you're drinking, it like, I guess
hits you faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it does to your blood, but it does something crazy to your blood where like, I don't know, you're just 10 times drunker.
Wow.
And so the kid starts getting sick in the hot tub.
Oh my God.
And while he's like not feeling good, the officer's like, yeah, I wanted to be a masseuse before, like blah, blah. And he starts like rubbing this kid's leg. And the kid's like, okay, a little weird. You know, I'm going to get out. I need to go take a shower. Like, I'm not feeling good. So he leaves, goes, takes a shower. And the officer tries to go in to the shower with him.
Oh my God.
And so the kid dips out. He's like, okay. You know, he's so drunk, he probably can't even think what's real, what, you know.
Right.
What
to do.
What is happening right now?
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, I'm going to go lay down. I'm feeling pretty sick. And he's like, all right, well, I'll go make a pizza. This guy was never making a pizza. He was waiting until this kid fell asleep to take advantage of him.
Wow.
Kid wakes up and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm not going to go into those details because it breaks my heart. The next day, I'll just say he's screaming at the officer, take me home right now. Like, take me effing home. And the officer's like, I need to quit saying officer. The guy's like, well, like, calm down. It's not like, dude, chill out. Just chill out. Just go back to bed. He's like, take me effing home right now. And he like ends up taking him home. And the kid says nothing in the car. He's shocked.
Absolutely.
He doesn't know.
He's traumatized.
Yeah. He's like, what?
Yep.
What the heck?
Yep.
And so the next day, the kid is severely hungover. He is scared to tell anybody. He has to go to school and see this officer the next day at school. And he is like, holy cow, what do I do? The officer starts stalking this kid, following him around.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Like literally following his location?
Yep. Following him around. Him and his friend go to this like local like restaurant, and he looks over and he's sitting outside.
Oh my God.
And he's like, hey, come here. I got you lunch. Like, I just really need to talk to you. He's blowing up his phone. And the kid's just ignoring him. Wow. And at this point, the kid's friend knows. He's like, I got to tell you something. Like, I don't know. I don't want to talk to him. I'm scared.
Right.
And so he's continuously stalking him. And he ends up telling his friend. And then the kid comes to me. And he's like, I need to tell you something. It was the weirdest feeling, but I already knew.
You already knew?
I already knew.
How?
I don't know. It was just like
mother
this
instinct, like maternal instinct.
Yeah, I already knew. I was like, something happened with this guy.
With that guy, yeah.
And I've never seen this kid act like this before, ever. And I was just like, he was like, he threatened me. And I was like, what do you mean he threatened you? He was like, he threatened me. He was like basically telling me in the hot tub when this happened that like another kid tried to come like spread these rumors, and that he said that he would end anybody who ever tried to ruin his family.
Wow. And
I was like, and he was like, Amber, he's a cop. He's a cop in this small town. And I was just like, You got to
Yeah.
tell somebody. You have
Yeah.
to, like, you're graduating, you're leaving your little brother here. You know, your brother's going to be in school with this guy. How many other kids has he done this to? And he was just like, don't tell anybody, please. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. The next day, I get in touch with the mayor, and because he is a really close friend of my best friend, or he's the dad of my best friend. And, I just asked for some advice, and there was a school meeting. The child's best friend actually told his parents. They called the school board meeting, and that's whenever the officer texted the kid and was like, I'm getting called in the office, and I don't know what this is about, but I think I'm going to lose my job. Like, trying to make this kid feel bad.
Right. Guilt him. Make it his fault.
Yeah, like he
Yeah.
did something wrong.
Right.
Like you.
Right.
Oh,
That's how they control people
Yeah.
is through that guilt and that shame and those emotions.
Yeah.
Like, we don't control people on logic. We control people on emotions.
Yeah.
And making you feel bad about yourself is like shaming you into silence.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted.
Eh.
And he has so many abuses of power, coercive control, where you are intimidating somebody. He sounds like he's miserable, domestically violent man in a sense, and
Right.
he totally abused his power, sexually abusing somebody and grooming them in the process. It's sad. I hate that this happened to him.
Yeah. And so he was going after he sent that or the kid was like, maybe I need to go meet with him. Like he's, and his friend was like, no, like you're not going to meet with him.
Yes.
Like, no,
Yeah.
he is trying to make you feel bad. I'm not going to let you. And he
Yep.
was just like, yeah, you're right. Like, no. And I'm just like, he keeps blowing this kid's phone up, trying to make him feel bad. He's a child. You know what I mean? Like this kid is going to, he's scared, but he's also like, I don't want anything like really, like he doesn't know what to think.
I know he's scared, and it really does scare them into silence. And this
Yeah.
is man or female, girl or boy.
Yeah.
These tactics work. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. He ends up getting arrested. And as he is in jail, more kids came out that
That he had done this.
Yep.
Wow.
So not only boys, but girls too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They don't discriminate when it's about power.
Yep.
Yep.
And, it's just the craziest thing because I'm at this football field. This kid was just a phenomenal athlete. This kid is just amazing all around. He just scored a touchdown. I'm sitting here talking to the officers, and he wasn't even really looking at me. And this is like all before this happened. And I'm sitting there trying to ask him questions because I just graduated with a criminal justice degree. And I'm asking him questions, and the dude's just like not there. I'm like, where are you? Like, hello? Are you checking out these kids, or are you like what were you actually looking at? Like it's just so weird. Like I'm sitting here talking to this guy, and little did you know he's a rapist.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
Yep.
what's so scary.
I know.
No?
They hide in plain sight. Yep. And
But-
I know that glazed look that you're talking about.
Yeah, and
It's creepy. It's offsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. Yeah. Yep.
but it's just and so the kid, I asked him to this day, I'm like, do you forgive? And he's like, no. He had a wife and kids. How could I forgive somebody like that? And he has seen him out in one setting because he got bailed out. He's seen him out in one setting, and he was like, my heart just dropped to my stomach. And he was scared for a long time. He was so scared. We had a cop car sitting outside my parents' house, making sure nobody was going to come and hurt him.
That's good.
Yeah.
There are good law enforcement officials out there. There
Absolutely.
really are. I really do mean that when I say that, but there are some because that profession draws those bad seeds that like
Right.
power. And when they do, oh my gosh, it's scary because they have the authority of the law behind them. They can surveil you without your consent on
Yep.
certain things. Yes, very scary.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that the local police stepped up though and made sure he felt safe. And he is brave as hell for coming out, by the way.
Right.
That is the hardest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
There's so much shame and stigma around it, especially being the star of the football team, very masculine. People probably praised him. In a sense, you lose status when you say something like this. Not really, but that's how you feel.
No, but they did though. They bullied it. Like some kids bullied him. Some kid
Wow.
posted a video. I'm not even gonna go in detail, but they posted a video of him, and I was mad as hell. I called that school, and then I called the police station. I was just like, "This isn't okay. You need to suspend these kids." And they did. They like looked into it. I don't know if they ever got suspended or not because I didn't look into it after that. But like,
They investigated it at least.
yes, they
did
did
something.
They did something
because that's
yes.
inappropriate. I mean, that's just so messed up.
And
on so many levels.
this wasn't that community. This was a different school.
Oh, okay.
That these kids had beef with.
I got you. Okay. Good.
The kid.
At least it wasn't his immediate environment.
Yeah,
So they
no.
were supportive.
Yes, they were. And,
good.
all the teachers and coaches, like, they all love him. The student body, like, they love him. They all, like, supported him. But everybody was just sickened because we all know this guy.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
And it's only a 4A school.
Yeah.
So it's like, you think your child is safe
Yep.
in these schools. And we even had, like, the news, like, some YouTube channel following around vice principal. And they're like, what are you going to do to prevent this from happening again? And it's like, well, from my standpoint I'm like, you don't know who somebody is until they show you who they are. And that is the scariest thing in the world right there. You don't know if this person is capable of rape or murder or what is going on. They can hide it so well.
Yep.
So it's like,
they do little things like buying lunches like that and those grooming behaviors, coming over, buying alcohol. Those are all red flags.
right.
And looking for that and trusting that and being able to discern that and teach your kids that. Like, is he buying you things? And I'm not saying everybody that buys a child something is a child molester, right? There's a line, but when it's a systematically done thing, it starts to go into that grooming behavior. When it's done, to get something in return as well. That's the other thing. It's transactional. I buy you all this stuff, you trust me, and now I'm going to have you come over to my house. That line, escalates in a sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sickening.
And those are the red flags that we have to teach our kids.
Yes.
Because it happens over and over and over again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There needs to be more talk about this kind of thing because, like,
Yes.
we do have to teach our kids to be aware. Mm-hmm. Who would have known this kid, phenomenal athlete, one homecoming king, was taken advantage of?
Right. Was being abused.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what your status is. Like, you never know.
You never know.
And that's just what's so hard. But so those kids came forward and, I hope that this man gets arrested again and goes to prison.
He should be in prison.
Yeah.
Did he not get it? Did they not sentence him yet?
No.
Okay. Mm-mm. And it's hard because they call all of them over as witnesses. So it re-traumatizes them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They subpoena the phone records. It's just, I hate how this whole thing happens. I hate how sexual abuse from start to finish how damaging it is to every single human being involved with it.
Right. And it just makes me so sick because, like, he thought that kid had such a rough upbringing that he was going to snatch him up and going to do all these things. But little did he know, this kid has been through hell and back. And he wasn't going to let some pervert take advantage of him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he was going to stand up. He loves his community way too much to, like, let that happen. So
it's brave.
Yeah.
He's brave.
Dude, he's a soldier.
I know.
I'm telling you, that
He
kid is a
has
soldier.
Brightness ahead of him. Like, to get past this darkness, and do it in the way that helps everybody and you care about people and that empathy, nothing's going to break him.
Right.
You know? And I feel like he can come out and really become his most authentic self in his trauma. He can teach others and help others.
Right. He cares about people so much. Like, he does come from, like, he doesn't really have a dad. His mom's been homeless for 12 years now on the side of the road. And he had to pick his mom up, that she's been homeless for 6 years, pick her up. We literally hung out with her and then drop her back off. And I turn around and I look back at this kid and he's just bawling. you know,
That's terrible.
him and his brother. And it's just like,
My God.
you know, like if you can go through something like that, you can go through anything that God like that gets put in front of you.
I just don't even have words. I know that he has a special path ahead of him, though. That I do know. I can tell that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, to get through this and to still have empathy in your heart and be able to, like, survive and thrive, in a sense, he has something that he's meant to carry forward to the world. I really believe that in a positive way.
Oh, yeah.
I really do.
God.
And he has you as a support, in a sense. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He wanted to come on and share his story, not me.
That's
like
amazing.
he was like, I want to do it. He's like, I want to help other kids who have been through this and other people. And I was like, if you don't want to do it, please, like, you know, you don't have to. And he's like, no, I want to.
I just got chills. I am so excited to hear his story.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to get everybody to tune in because this is so needed.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's willing to be so vocal about it, think of all the people he's going to help. Think of all the male children he's going to help.
Right.
Because that they are shamed into silence more than anything.
And he's the one who reached out to that boy who did get sexually abused. And he's like, hey, you know, like, and the kid ended up opening up to him and was like, yeah, like, and they're like, yeah. So
Wow.
just crazy, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. There's goodness to come out of this darkness.
Right.
But we all have to band together as a community and support these victims, support children that are being abused, support women that are being abused. We have to come together and do that.
Right.
That's super important
Yes.
in their healing journey.
I'm so glad you can come on and share some light on this.
Yes.
You know, I really do appreciate you coming on. And I think you will be on in another 2 episodes.
We go into more of the trauma and the clinical, but I am so excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
So much fun always. Yes. And to whoever's being abused in any way, please speak out. People care. They love you. They want to support you and they want to help you.